Today, I will be sharing 5 strategies for building unwavering self-discipline. These are strategies which I personally deployed into my own life, and they have made a huge difference. So let's get into the first strategy, which is a mental reframe. I think that it's important to reframe how we look at discipline, because for many people, myself included, the most challenging part of building self-discipline is the mental side. It's those constant nagging and procrastinating thoughts that stop me from actually doing what I mean to do. Therefore, I like to reframe the definition of discipline itself. For instance, you could reframe discipline as a form of self-love. Basically, when you practice discipline, it is a form of self-love because you are choosing actions which benefit your long-term well-being. They benefit your future self. It is like delaying gratification in the best way possible. And when you reframe this as loving yourself, then it makes it much, much easier to enact those actions of self-discipline in the first place. Think about doing something for a friend of yours. You probably have no resistance to do a beneficial thing for one of your best friends. So why would you have difficulty getting off the couch and exercising, for example? Number 2 is to reframe discipline as a path to freedom. Now, this absolutely makes sense as well, because when you are doing things for yourself, you are over time becoming more freer in your life, in your everyday life. For instance, when you delay gratification for spending money in the short term, then you are leading yourself to being financially free in the long term. Another example is by being healthy, by having discipline in healthy ways, then you are going to become much more able-bodied and stronger later on in life, which just leads to a more fulfilled and gratifying life as a whole. Strategy number 2 is the identity shift. It makes it a lot easier when your identity is in line with your disciplinary goal. Let's assume you are becoming more disciplined with your fitness. Well, shifting your identity from somebody who's just trying out exercise to somebody who is an avid exerciser is going to make your time becoming disciplined with exercise a much easier one. For example, you might say, I'm somebody who values fitness and health, and therefore I'm going to prioritize my workouts. This will naturally make adherence easier, because when you are in that identity shift of somebody who exercises, for example, well, that person wouldn't be missing workouts. They wouldn't be skipping it for some minor excuse. They wouldn't be the type of person to not take it seriously. And therefore, when you adopt that persona, when you adopt that identity, you are going to be much less likely to skip out on your workouts as well. Alongside this, you can shift some common phrases that people use to further extend this identity shift. For example, you can reframe I have to I get to. Now, this shifts the viewpoint from a burden to all of a sudden it's an opportunity. You could also shift I failed to I learned, which suddenly reframes failure as a learning opportunity, an area for growth, which is what it should be in the first place after all. Strategy number 3 is environment adjustments. The way your environment is laid out can be the difference between you achieving your goals or not. For example, taking it back to the common case of exercising, if you're waking up in the morning and you want to go for a run or something and you can't find your socks, well, that one little decision of not being able to find your socks could be the difference between skipping an entire workout or not. So therefore, I like to customize my very environment to suit my needs of the disciplinary goal. For example, I personally lay out all of my workout clothes the night before. I keep my keys and wallet in my gym bag by the door. I promise you this is going to make a big change in your very lives. And this totally makes sense because not every single day are you going to be motivated. Not every day are you going to be in the mindset of wanting to exercise or even the mood for that reason. And therefore, having this level of convenience to where you can't make little excuses throughout the day to throw off your duties. It just makes a huge world of a difference. Strategy number 4 is to build positive habits. It's just a fact that when you are not moving, when you are not eating properly, when you are not sleeping properly, when you are not exercising, when your very vital functions are at an all-time low, it makes mustering the energy required to do much of anything very, very challenging. And especially it makes it challenging to do anything disciplinary that you want to do. And therefore, making sure that your bodily needs are taken care of to the maximum extent is of the utmost importance. If you are not feeling healthy, if you are not taking care of your body, then it just makes everything that much more difficult. So when you are taking care of yourself the way that you need to, everything becomes that much easier. So those are some good habits that you guys should already be deploying. But on top of this, I can talk about some habits which are just kind of icing on the cake, which really helped me in my own life. And I'm going to talk about 2 of them. Number 1 is the cold plunge or cold shower. You can do either or. Now, I love doing this first thing in the morning because it is often the hardest thing that I have to do throughout the whole day. And it creates a snowball effect. When you turn that shower to cold first thing in the morning, it is very difficult to do, but it makes everything else in your day that much easier in comparison. So it is kind of like a habit forming reframe for discipline. Number 2 is meditation / breath work. They kind of go hand in hand for me. I think that they are very important because they can build emotional and anxiety / depression resilience. And if you guys are in a very volatile, emotional, or anxiety-ridden state, then doing much of anything is very difficult. So if you can do anything, free and easy like meditation to kind of ward off those bad feelings, that bad juju, then that is a great thing to do. Strategy number 5 is to learn from failure. I know that it's easier said than done, but after all, failure should be seen as a learning opportunity because you will inevitably fail here and there, but that is just a part of the process. What's important is that you have an upward trajectory of growth. It's important to realize that discipline is a skill and therefore it requires immense practice. But I guarantee, I promise you that by trying to stick with it each and every day, you will become better at it over time. So don't let 1 or 2 failures define you. Just try and learn from them. Okay, so that was my 2 cents on how to build unwavering self-discipline. We talked about reframing the definition of discipline to a form of self-love and a form of freedom. We talked about shifting your identity to somebody who you want to be like. Somebody who could fulfill the tasks that you are trying to set aside for yourself. We talked about changing common phrases to ones which just assist you and remove some turmoil, some friction from your disciplinary path. After that, we talked about environmental adjustments, how customizing your environment to suit your needs can make the path of resistance that much more easier for your disciplinary tasks. After that, we discussed building good habits, how doing things like a cold plunge or a cold shower can have a snowball effect throughout your day, and doing meditation and breath work can help you become more emotionally and anxiety and depression resilient. And then finally, we briefly discussed how learning from failures is the best way to go, how discipline is not just do it or don't type of deal. It's an upward trajectory, it's a skill, and it's a mindset. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that I can help you along your disciplinary path. And if you guys have any suggestions for more strategies, please leave them down below. I would love to give them a try and see if it can benefit my own life. Thank you. Have a good day.